Hello and welcome back to the second part of our discussion today. We still have here Mrs. Mercy Chidibedu, the Executive Director of Ripples. Welcome back, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
So we were talking about Ripples, and then we would like to find out, being a mother of 5, how supportive has your husband been in the area of handling Ripples?
Thank you very much. We work together as partners and colleagues in this because he shares the same passion that I share. His love for children, his love for vulnerable women. When I say vulnerable women, women who are facing various forms of violence, from domestic violence to issues of non-maintenance of children, issues of child custody, paternity, and as we work in Ripples, our approach to children matters is holistically. So he comes in very strong with his legal background, looking at some of the national and also international laws that discriminate on women or don't give women and children the same platform, and goes out of the way and see how we can challenge some of those gaps. So we work together very closely, and also in terms of maybe where there is gap, he comes in handy and supports. So we basically share the same passion.
So how do you separate work and life? How do you balance work-life? The balance.
I would say that's a very difficult question to respond, and I get to be asked that question all the time. It's a very thin balance, and one of the things we have done, made deliberate effort as much as possible, is to involve our children in the work that we do. When the opportunities, when they can participate or join in what we do, we gladly take those opportunities and make sure they can be part of what we do. I would say it's tight, but one of the things we've personally ensured, I personally have ensured, and both of us as parents, is to ensure that even when it comes to school, we don't miss our children events. Even if the events coincide with our own event here at Ripples, we say Ripples can always have other parents, but our children will not have any other person. But I would say it's a very tough balance, and we have to make deliberate effort to also give them the attention that they need.
Thank you. So with the vision for Ripples, how did you coin or come about the vision for Ripples?
As I said, when we started maybe just to address a need of a friend who had gone through a traumatic experience in her life, being HIV positive, being discriminated in the home, in the community, and narrowing down to the child came with time. And because the community work is very huge, we had to sit down and narrow our focus. Which particular areas did we want to concentrate on, and we narrowed it down to the child. And then also when you narrow it down to the child, you can't just work with the child alone. You need the whole support system for that child. There are the parents, there's the community. So everything we do touches the interests of the child. So if we work with their mothers, we want to ensure a livelihood for these mothers, so that they can be able to take care of the children. We're doing economic empowerment for them, grandmothers or caregivers, is because of this child. We're looking at nutrition support. We're not talking about issues of maintenance. It's because of this child. If we are doing constitution suit, it's because of this child, because we also want to ensure we have laws that protect women and children. So everything that we do surrounds the children, and that's how we say it. Also working with those children, you have to work with a community that is empowered. So our vision has been empowered children living in an empowered community. Yes.
And how has that vision also affected or reflected on the upbringing of your own children?
I think based on the work that we do, or of course when you're doing something on day to day, it will definitely also affect Some of it is positive, some is negative.
Yeah.
For example, we're doing a drought intervention. You're going to a place where children are malnourished because they are not getting a meal a day.
Yeah.
So getting even water to drink is a challenge, whereby we get there and we have bottles and every child wants just a sip of that water. Then you come home and you find a tap running.
Yeah.
Whereas you're coming from a place where they don't have water.
Not even
a child is eating and they want to pour food. So that has affected me, and the kids know at home. Once you put it on the plate, you must finish. There is no wasting food.
Wow.
So we tell them, put what you can finish, and then we always remind them that you remember that people who are starving, they don't have this. So some of them, like, I would shout and say, why is this tap running? You know, and they'll be traumatized. Then I remember, oh, I'm carrying my work home.
Okay.
It's because of the scenario which I've encountered where somebody's not having water
at all,
and I brought that home.
Yeah.
So it's both positive and also negative
at the same time. Yeah. Okay. So what are the successes that Ripples have attained from the time of inception up to now? What are some of the successes that you can think of, and do these successes relate to how you envisioned when you gave birth to Ripples?
Again, I said it's very difficult because when we started, everything happened too fast. And anybody told me I'll be doing this like 20 years down the line, I'll be here. At the beginning, I wouldn't have known because basically I took off from work to support a friend with intentions of going back to work. Even when I took separation from work, it was 1 year separation with intention of going back to work. But I must say that there are moments I'm so discouraged, like any other person. We're all human, so there are moments you feel this is not working, I should have been doing this and all that. But let me tell you, in those moments, God will always bring an inspiration. From when we started to now, we have graduated so many children. I've seen children we started with from primary. I have children who we thought were going to die. They were HIV positive, left for death. We rescued them, took them through the medical support, psychological support. They are living with HIV. They're almost getting to 30 years now, 20-something years. Then having seen them, you know, there's no medication to have us having medication. So everybody has given, I've given up on you, then come, gone through school, university. Like recently, as you saw, 5 of them came back and just gave me a surprise.
Nice,
that we're here. I mean, that just melts my heart. And all of them were saying, we are here because of you. If you never left Nairobi and came to Meru, we don't know how our lives will be. But like, look at the grandchildren that now you have. These are our children. They are HR, I have lawyers, I have teachers, I have psychological counselors. I mean, name it. We have all professions. So that alone is an inspiration that just that decision to just relocate from Nairobi to come to Meru has had a huge impact and has impacted thousands of children. We have supported over 20,000 children since we started.
Oh, wow.
So you can imagine one way or the other. There are those we have taken through school. There are those we got them out of the crisis. Okay.
I believe it's a good and a great success story, but there will definitely be certain things that really didn't go on well as you envisioned with the project for Ripples. Can you let us know some of the things that hasn't gone well for Ripples?
I would say we've had multiple challenges, just like any other organization. And like I said, it's remaining on the step, keeping to the steps and trusting the process. There are times you're in the peak of a project and then that donor says we're not able to fund this project anymore because we're also challenged with the funding. Then it leaves you hanging. But I would also say some of the challenges maybe have been made by us, whereby we've gone into a community and we're supporting them. Maybe with income generating activities, we bought them goats or we bought them chicken. And they now take this as a property for repose. You know, so instead of saying, oh, my goat is doing well, they will tell you, the goat for repose. You know, or it's sick. That goat for repose is sick. You know, that community ownership. And then the second one, it's never enough. It can never be enough. So the more you support, the more they almost become dependent on the support that you're giving. And all. And then the third one is, I would say, is especially when it comes to working with girls survivors of sexual violence, there's no that coordination between the various service delivery agency, because there's a police that comes in, there's the counselors who come in, there's a medical that comes in. I wish they were all under one roof. Because right now, most of the community members don't know what to do. You go to the hospital, you don't know, oh, I'm supposed to have gone to the police. Or you go to the police, they say, go to the hospital, you need to see a counselor. They're navigating the legal redress, ensuring this matter goes to court. It's very confusing, and that has denied children and many children justice. And then, again, on this shelter, one of the other things that has challenged us is most of the abuse happens within the home. It's either father, it's a grandfather, it's an uncle, so it's within the family. And we have very many cases of incest. So there's a lot of compromise at the family level. This was my father. How do I go to court and stand against my father? So there's a balance. They're both blood. It's my child, it's my blood, it's my father, it's my blood. So who do you stand out for? So there's a lot of compromise at the family level, amongst many other challenges that we have come through. Yes.
Thank you very much. And working, I mean, sometimes you have your own concept. You talked about donors. Has there been any part of this journey whereby a donor, a stakeholder, a partner will say, the concepts that you are bringing on board, I'm not interested, or I wouldn't go for it?
Of course, many times, but I would also say that we're also very particular on what kind of relationship we want to enter into, and what kind of stakeholders we can bring on board, and which stakeholder we can bring on board. We've set our vision and our goals very clear. If you are working with children, what line of children are you working with? So even when we're looking at calls for proposal, we have to sit them and analyze if it's a fit for us or not a fit. A fit means, are they within our mission? Are they within our goals and vision and all that? So we now analyze stuff. We have a team that sits together quickly to look at that. If they're not fit for us, then we don't pursue it. Otherwise, if you don't keep your focus and you're dictated by the donor, then you keep shifting, you know, like a monkey. If you bring a banana here, bring an orange here, they don't have a focus. But I also admire a lion. When a lion sets a target and says, this is the animal I want, you can bring a goat here, bring a gazelle here. They will not look at them because their eyes are kept on the targets. We are not there yet, but that's our desire, that we can stay focused and not get influenced by any other partner that comes here and brings, because they are also marketing or presenting their interest. So we also have to see, how do our interests merge in with the partner that comes. So there are very many that we have let go because they are not within our objectives as an organization.
Thank you very much. And then working with the marginalized, with the vulnerable women and children, how has it been? How has it been in terms of you, the individual? How has it given you a shape? How does it shape you as an individual?
Of course, when anything you do has a way of shaping you, shaping your thinking, and I would say my work has again influenced me positively and also negatively. Of course, I've come across all kind of challenges that you can never imagine there are, especially working with community. But one of the most negative impact it has on me is I found myself very aggressive. It was not my nature. Excessively aggressive, fighting for the rights, even now my own rights, my own children's rights. You know, for example, my kids are always on me. Like we're in the supermarket, somebody wants to pass the queue. I will never allow them pass the queue. I'll say, why? You know, then I sit back. My kids are like, why did you do that? I'm like, okay, I'm teaching the kids so much rights that it's actually affecting. One time we were traveling and they were asking us to show our ID or identification and also tickets to know if you're in the first class, you know, in the train. It was in the train or. So there was a couple who were right in front of us. They didn't ask them. They just let them pass. When they got there, I said, call them. And I let them show you their tickets. Why are you asking my ticket and you didn't have them? And they went on and they said, I won't go. I said, okay, I won't show my ticket unless they show their tickets because this is discrimination. They said, no, they didn't. They showed. I said, they didn't. You have CCTV camera unless I see. But my kids are like, I'm like, so when I sit back, I'm like, oh yeah. I'm doing so much of this work that even simple things that I'll just pass over. Yeah, so it's kind of affected me in both ways. I'm a bit sensitive by nature of my work. It has also helped me be able, having that skill to be able to identify someone who really needs help and someone actually who doesn't need help.
Right.
Yeah.
As a mother, working with these young ladies who have been abused, some of them having babies, bringing forth, you know, how does it affect you emotionally when you have to deal with, especially, do you feel so drained by some of the cases you are handling because you being a mother? How well drained? How do you really handle such draining cases? Having witnessed the work that we do, especially working with girls survivors of sexual violence and teenage girls who are teenage mothers, of course it drains emotionally. I can't even begin to mention because you go home and look at your own child and imagine this is a 3-year-old. She could be my own daughter, like the daughter I have at home. So when I look at her, my mind goes straight at that child that I have back at home. And it's not just for me, but it's entire staff that deal with this. So what we have had is we have our own internal groups where we do debrief because otherwise it can affect you emotionally. But as a person, I think I took in so much of it, especially when we were in the formation of the organization. So I have decided I no longer hear the stories of the children because I realized it was really affecting me so deep. So I hear their stories in passing, or I can read when they present the files for maybe approve or something. That's when I read the story, but not that face on face. Like I could see girls. There are so those cases because they are sensitive. I'll have to give guidance, but I can't hear each and every because it's so much draining emotionally. But we have those forums where the staff can have debrief. We get an external counselor who just takes staff through that they have a moment of speaking out and maybe hearing from the rest and sharing the challenges and how best to support each other. So the debrief and the forums help the staff to come back, bounce back, even after they drain. Okay, thank you. Because the work is also very sensitive and also risky. Because you're dealing with men who have abused their own children. And they already know if I go and if I'm arrested, then I'll be convicted, maybe life imprisonment. Because I think the list is about 10 years imprisonment. Especially if it's a child. All right. So with your born again experience, can you give us a little bit about it? The Christian born again experience that you have and how it's impacting your work in Ripples. Thank you for that. I would say being born again, like I said when we were starting, Ripples is a very good example of a journey of faith. We didn't start because we have money. We started because there was a deeper burning desire to be able to support children. I can't say we started because we had this money as seed to put in there. No. When I left work, basically I need to tell the people about HIV.
And I went out telling people about HIV. Then people need to be tested. We went to one businessman. I think I was showing you on Facebook. It's called Ramesh. He gave us a tank and taps. We started visiting, testing people. Somebody donated. And I think what God looks for us is the intention and looks at your heart. What is it that is in your heart? Because believe me, when we started, the resource, of course, is an issue we're going to support. And I said how we started a Christian bookshop that never gave us any income to support that. But believing that God's hand is in it. And that no matter how things are challenging, if God has brought us here, He must be able to sustain us. When we started, there was a couple friend of ours, they are doctors. And when we got time, when we said we need to start a home, children's home. And because we knew he was working with UNICEF, we requested for a meeting so that he can maybe give us guidance on how we can raise funds. And we went. He was so negative, said, UNICEF will never fund you. You'll never get funding for this. Nobody wants to fund a home because it's a liability, blah, blah, blah. But if you want to do education, advocacy, he spoke. By the end of the day, we were so discouraged. Yet it was a burning desire within our hearts to do. And we were thinking, oh my goodness, okay. Then when I got home, I said, is Chris God? Is he God? Is he the one who put this burning desire in my heart? I follow the path that God wants me to. So today I look at the New Start Center and imagine if we said we're done and close shop, we would never have had a New Start Center. So as we started even supporting children, the first we got was $400. We did it well. Then we had this organization that gave us $500, we did it well. $5,000, we did it well. They gave us $10,000, we did it well, and went on and on. So what I have learned through my walk of faith in this is whatever God entrusts to you, you need to be faithful for Him to be able to multiply it. And I say it's not how much you have, it's how have you used the little that He has given you. We started by supporting 10 children. We have now supported over 20,000 children, like I said. If you have 10 shillings, what are you done with that 10 shillings? If you're trusting God to give you $1 million, you must be able to demonstrate what have you done with the 10 that He has given you for you to be able to use. So if you cannot demonstrate what you can do with 10, how can He give you $1 million? Then you'll be shocked. You won't even know how to deal with 1 million shillings. Yes.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay. So, what is that one thing about Ripples that you would never change?
I will never change our Christian values. I will never negotiate that. As the organization has grown, and I've said that in my lifetime as a founder, I will never remove that we are Christ-centered. And the reason I speak with a lot of emotions about it is because when now we grew and we started doing our strategic plan, we started the process of doing the strategic plan when I was out of the country, and the team went together. They said, we are now a public benefit organization. We cannot be limiting people by the word Christ. And they discussed, looked at the consequences. Now you are attracting donor funding, blah blah blah. And it's one day that I missed the first intro meeting for strategic plan, and it involved my staff with a consultant. By the time I came back, Christ-centered had been removed as one of our core values because it was limiting even the expertise that we'd want to have in the staff. It took 2 days to convince everyone and reintroduce it back as our core value. So that is one thing that I will never ever compromise because that is the foundation of the ministry. So I always say in my lifetime, that is non-negotiable. And my belief is, even as we go on, and that's where the chair of the trust or the board must be a born again and a serving minister.
Right.
That one is non-negotiable.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are your expectations for Ripples in coming 2024?
By the grace of God, we have a strategic plan which has various goals that we need to achieve, broken down into every year. So next year it's more of solidifying, because we're strengthening our structures, our governance structure, ensuring the boards are strengthened, our administrative structures are strengthened. We have the relevant policies that we need to move, because we are looking at expanding, grounding, or building up on the model that we have, and wanting to duplicate this model, not just in other parts of the country, but in other countries as well.
Okay.
Yes.
So beyond 2024, like 2025, 26, 2027, what are your expectations, or where?
Beyond there, we want to see Ripples in other counties within Kenya. We are right now in 4 counties.
Okay.
But we are looking at least being in the next 5 years to being in like 10 counties.
All right.
And we're also looking to being grounded in other countries like Ghana and Southern Sudan, and maybe other counties. Okay. I'm also looking forward in the next 5 years. I'm currently working on succession planning.
Definitely.
Succession planning, documenting, and then once you document, then start the process of maybe having somebody coming and sitting there. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mrs. Mercy Chidibedu. It's been a very wonderful time talking to you. We've learned so much, so much from your life, and also from all the good things you are doing for humanity through Ripples. It's been such a wonderful time. We'd like to say thank you, and we'd like to ask God for strength for you to continue the good work and touching many hearts through Ripples International. Thank you so much for your time, madam. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much as well. And thank you for finding time to come and visit with us and be able to experience firsthand the work that by God's grace is using us to do for His kingdom.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.